nights don't get around, but there's something about you I like, about you I like. You're crazy for saying I should slow down, but maybe I'm escaping the love.
Hello lovely people, it's Nicola here in the Stitches and Slapdashery sewing room again. I have no idea what date it is. It's Monday. I know that much. I've been a good domestic person today. I made sure that the vacuuming and the bathrooms were done before I came down to the sewing room. Pat myself on the back for that. I've done a few things since my last vlog. You may have seen the new tutorial I put up for a little jean purse. I'll show you that here in a minute. Since my last vlog, I made a batch of these rainbow pouches. I made 8 more of these because I realized I'd only made one usable one. And I think they could be popular when I finally get to the market. I also had a not very large piece of some rather unusual jean leg. It's got ridges in it and it was a little worn, so I interfaced it because it was super stretchy. I didn't want to deal with the stretch. But a medium weight interfacing on the back and just cut it into a rectangle with as little wastage as possible and then made a little pouch out of it. I used a different tab on the zippers this time. I did it the way Christine does at Christine's Home Affairs, and it actually looks quite good. The fabric inside is the purple pattern stuff. I've got lots of that. I should probably put it in everything because I have so much of it. And yesterday I was playing with a new idea. It isn't really my idea. I can't really take credit for it, but about a year ago, my youngest son, who used to work at the same fabric store as me, decided he wanted to design and make an extra pocket. It was designed to hold maybe a phone and some other things, maybe pens and stuff like that. And it was going to be made of denim with webbing and clips. And the idea was that he would have it hanging off his belt loop, I think. So it would hang from his belt loop, and then it would be down the side of his leg, and then he would have like a thigh strap as well, so that it stayed in place and didn't move around. And then he sort of made a paper version of it, but he never really went ahead and made the fabric version. So yesterday I decided I wanted to make a denim version. It's nothing real. It's not really anything like his idea in that it's completely how I thought it should come together. Plus it had to be adapted because I messed up the magnetic snap. So the front of it looks like this. And that little square of reversed denim covers up the back of the magnetic snap because I originally inserted it so that it was facing outwards. And so I had 2 little holes in that denim, which I had to cover up. And now, of course, having put the magnetic snap in the right way, I had the prongs on the outside. With hindsight, I probably could have fixed it better than that, but this is just going to be for me, I think. The fabric inside is that cool camper van fabric, or caravan. I put a little pocket on the front, which was designed to be the size of a credit card. Again, with hindsight, it went on wonky. The one good thing about it was that it meant I had somewhere to put the magnetic snap without it going into the main pocket and scratching the phone if you put your phone in there. But I wouldn't do that again. Too fiddly. Also, because I sewed up and around and down, this ended up being wonky. So again, not really saleable. And then on the back, originally I was going to have one loop down here for putting a belt through, and then another one up here for putting a belt through if you wanted it higher or lower, and then a hanging hook for a belt loop. Yeah, so it could hang off the belt loop of your jeans. And in the end, what I decided was it just really needed one. So you can put your belt through there, and it sits on your waist. You can fold that down so that it's not sticking up, or you can hang it from a belt loop. Now this will work for me at the market, so I could use this. And you know how women are always complaining that women's clothes never have pockets, or the pockets that are big enough. So I was going to market it as the extra pocket. But really, I don't particularly think that that's going to be something that I want to make in bulk. So I'm going to shelve that idea for now. Probably just keep that for myself. Maybe use it myself. Possibly. We'll see. So the tutorial that I published the other day was for a little denim bag. I had a lovely wide pair of denim legs in that pile I bought from that lady, and so much usable fabric in there. Plus the piece of denim had a big seam all the way down the middle, and I thought I'll cut the seam up and use that as the strap, and then cut the bag fabric out of the leg and use a pocket from another pair of jeans and a couple of belt loops from another pair of jeans and some chenille that I had in the stash that I think didn't cost me anything because it was full of holes. So I love the shape of this. I made this up. I drew up the pattern for it as I showed in my tutorial video. It was more of a watch my creative process video, in that I don't really expect people to be exactly following and trying to copy this precisely. But it has darts, so it makes a nice rounded shape. And it has a curtain grommet right here with some chenille sewn behind it so that you can still use the pocket, but it's got that pretty accent on it. And it's got a magnetic snap and a chenille lining. I didn't top stitch it. I decided not to because it was going to get too bulky, and I thought I'd probably make a mess of it and end up unpicking it and making a mess. So with this strap, as I say, I tried using a jean seam. It was very, very much fraying, and it was a bit short. It would have been okay as a shoulder bag, but so many people want to wear their bags crossbody now. And I just happened to be over there where I have this stash of bags hanging on the back of my sewing room door, and I found this really long denim strap that I had made years ago to carry a crocheted bag. And I thought, wow, I think I just need to steal that. And so I took the silver hooks that were on the end of it off, and I sewed the antique bronze one on, and I put my label on it. So that was done. I was really pleased with that. I was thinking probably should charge about $40 for that because there was a lot of work in it. It took me a whole morning to film it and a whole afternoon to edit it. So it's a lot of work in those tutorials. So after faffing about with those smaller denim things yesterday, I ended up cutting out 8 sets of fabric for a continuous zipper pouch. I'll put the link in the description because it's a really good tutorial for a zipper bag where the zipper is really easy to put in. It couldn't be any easier. It does only use one side of the zipper, so there is a bit of waste, but you can use the other side for a wristlet strap or for a tab. And I don't think I want to go the whole hog and do a wristlet strap, because these are pretty small. I've had to make the smaller size because my zippers are 20 inches and the fabric is 18, which is perfect. I went for the 20-inch length. I don't have a 22-inch zipper. So I've got everything stacked up in front of me. I've got the outers and linings cut. They're just matching. I just cut it all the same. And I got my interfacing and my multicolored zippers sorted out. And that is what I'm going to be working on today. So I'm hoping to get all or most of that done before I have to drive my son to the dentist. One thing I did forget to mention is we are finishing 3 weeks of Mr. Stitch's cancer treatment. It's getting nasty now. Even though the tumour is responding to treatment, unfortunately, he is suffering from the effects of the radiation now. So they've been bombarding his neck with radiation for 3 weeks, and his mouth and throat are really, really sore. He does have a lidocaine mouthwash to numb things to help him swallow food, because swallowing is really, really painful, and his eating is slowing right down, and he's having to go for really smooth food now. Even drinking hurts. So I'm sure he's still doing the baking soda mouth rinses as he was told way back. But this lidocaine is at least helping to numb things a bit, to help him eat. It feels like the next 4 weeks are going to be long because he is going to be suffering. And then they say expect at least 2 weeks beyond that to get over the worst of the effects of the treatment.
Look at me, I'm fine here without you. I can see that you're doing pretty well too. I guess we're good at pretending. Can't you see I've nowhere to hide now? Let's agree to figure this out right now. Unless we both decide.
I'm back without the hat this time. I was wearing that beanie yesterday because I had hat hair and I just felt it was easier to keep the beanie on. I do like that beanie, matches my sweater. I had another comment on this sweater today when I was out and about. Lady said, I thought you actually had a crocheted sweater on. I'm like, yeah, a lot of people think that till they get up close and realize it's fleece. But still a lot of compliments. The colour, I think, draws people's eyes, as it would, right? Hold on, I forgot I had a cup of tea here. I haven't been back long. Mr. Stitches had his, let me see, 4th chemo today, the beginning of week 4. He's on a new drug because the other one is causing him hearing problems. And also, apparently, they don't have to give him an hour of saline drip first because this new one is easier on the kidneys. It still has other effects, potentially, but it's quicker, at least, by a little bit. He doesn't have to be there as long. And he also managed to get his radiation early rather than going back in again this afternoon. So that's nice. Quite often they'll accommodate people when their appointments are set hours apart, and then they'll try and squeeze you in if they can, so that you don't have to do 2 trips. It's not that we live very far from the cancer centre, but it's a pain. I have to go back and forth more than once in a day. What have I got to tell you? I finished the 8 little zipper pouches. Super easy zipper pouches, right? You'd think if there's 8 of them, once you did the first one, the other 7 would be like, whoosh. No. My family were laughing at my cursing yesterday because I kept forgetting to leave the gap in the lining to do the turning. Oh boy. So I kept zooming past the point at which I was supposed to stop and backstitch and skip over to do a little bit extra sewing and leave that gap in the bottom of the bag. So it was unpick, 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 I mean reverse sewing, and do it again. However, I think they came out well. This pattern is one I have done before, and it's really cute. I did a robin one. And because I'm only using 1/2 of the zipper, I used a piece of the spare to make the tab. So the zipper ends are over here, and then this side, it's just a curved part because the zipper half goes all the way round. And it's such a neat way of doing a zipper. It's really straightforward. You've just got this long piece of fabric for the whole width of the bag, both sides. And you put the zipper in across the top and the lining, and it folds into the bag, and it's so easy. I remember to put my labels in and sew around them this time. So when I said earlier that I had made them the same, what I meant was I made the outer and the inner the same. So in other words, I didn't mix up outer with a different lining. Not that they were all identical. And I just decided to do them all with black thread because that went with most of them. So there's a robin one, and there's a fun multicolored one with a turquoise zipper. And another multicolored one in a different pattern. These two fabrics I got for free from the stash of the deceased lady that my friend knew. This one's fun. I bought quite a big chunk of this. In fact, I think I bought the end of the bolt when I was at work. And it says cut, sew, repeat. And after I had taken the last of it home, a lady came back looking for more of it. And she's like, oh, I really need some more. I need another bit of it. And I'm like, sorry, but it's all gone. Yeah, because I'd bought it. I thought it might make a good lining, but on the other hand, it makes kind of a good outer as well, doesn't it? Fun. I made one with gold spots. And I made one with the kitchen utensil fabric. That's fun too. And then I made two with this coffee fabric. The larger sections say, I love you, a latte, and brunch is always a good idea, and don't give a frappe. And this one I cut slightly different. It's got the happily ever after coffee and the I love a latte and a brunch is always a good idea. And then inside, it's the same fabric, just a different part of it because it was printed in rows. So there is, oh, probably better if I just turn it right side out. Wrong side out. Wrong side out. So it's got coffee and snacks on the inside. So those took me a while. I had cut everything out the night before last. Then in the morning, I did a bit, and then I had to break. And in the afternoon, I did a bit, and then I had to break. In the evening, I finished them. It was a bit of a multi-step process. Somehow, I just can't seem to get a handle on this efficiency thing. I'm very efficient in a lot of ways, just obviously sewing is a bit of a challenge. You might remember, moving on, that I made this cowl. It's called the Nottawasaga Buff. I don't think I put it on last time you saw it. And it's made in worsted weight yarn, and it's a pattern that you can find on Ravelry, and I'll put a link underneath the video. And, oh, I'm probably knocking the mic. It's a really cool shape. It's minimalistic, keeps your neck warm, tucks into your coat, so there's no drafty neck. And it's so easy. And I decided to make another one because I wanted something straightforward to knit that didn't require too much thought. And if you watched when I last talked about it, you'll remember that when I went from the in the round knitting to the flat knitting, right here, my gauge changed. I knit tighter when I'm going around in the round, going around in the round. That was a bit redundant, wasn't it, Nicola? But when I'm just going round and round, it's all knit stitch, and it's way snugger of a stitch than when I do back and forth and there's pearls involved. So what I'm going to try this time, if I remember, is I'm going to change one of the tips on my interchangeable needles so that when I'm purling back, I will use a one size smaller needle tip to tighten up my pearls. And I think that will help with the gauge. Really not crucial. You know, no one's going to tell. If you're wearing this, no one's going to say, I see your gauge changed at the V there. I don't think that's acceptable. But I know. I cast on last night for a second one. And I carried on when I was at the tea shop waiting for Mr. Stitches to have his appointments this morning. So I've already got to the point where I've done my 6 rounds of ribbing and done a few rounds of the stockinette. And the yarn I'm using it's Spindle Yarns Essential Basics. If you're not in Canada and if you don't shop at Fabricland, you probably have never heard of this stuff. And it was on clearance, $3.30 a ball. It's the one I made my grey sweater with that I was talking about a couple of vlogs ago, or maybe in the last vlog. Can't remember. It made a very cheap sweater because I used less than 5 balls of it to make my sweater. And I think I can get one, should be possible to get one of these cowls out of way less than 1 ball. And I have a few balls left of this still. It's up there somewhere. There, I think. You know, it would be nice to have one of these on the go all the time, wouldn't it? Just think how many I could make over the course of a year and have a whole stash of gifts so that everybody I know could get one for Christmas. Maybe. Or maybe I'll get tired of it after 3, say. I'm so fickle. I got an Amazon parcel today. It was a very small one. It was a very, very small box, but it had some fun stuff in it. I've agonized over this Amazon cart probably for a couple of weeks. I just keep thinking, oh, but I should be just working from stash and I should just use that or use up this first. And there's certain things you can't make with other things, or you don't want to make with other things. And I'm still working from stash as far as fabric is concerned. I haven't needed to buy fabric for a long time. So I was thinking that one thing I might want to do is doggy poop bags. I think those would be really popular. Christine of Christine's Home Affairs, I know I mention her a lot. I better link her underneath the video, hadn't I? She did a batch sew of a whole bunch of these doggy poop bags. And you just put the roll of plastic bags inside it, and it's a little zipper pouch. It's got a clip on it to hold it to the leash or whatever. And it's got a grommet on the back of it to pull the bags out one at a time. Now, it does use a lot of zipper. Like, if I decide to do this, I'm probably going to be using up a small amount of zipper and wasting a large amount of zipper. So I'm not convinced yet that I'm going to do these, but I may make some version of it at some point. I'll have to look in my zip stash and see. That's my zip stash right in that bag there. I keep all my zippers and elastic in that bag. And mostly I have longer zippers. I got a batch from my friend, 14-inch ones. I got a batch of 20-inch ones when I blew an Amazon gift card around Christmas. And I did look at buying a pack of 6-inch zippers from Amazon, but I changed my mind. As I say, a lot of things went in and out of that cart before I finally hit go to checkout. Second guessing, third guessing everything. All of that is to say, I bought these clips. I did try out a couple of them, and they do seem to have a pretty strong spring on them, which is good. They're super tiny. Hang on a minute. Super tiny. They've got a little rounded loop there. It's 1/2 inch wide, and the little sort of lobster claw top. So they call them keyring clips. So they just clip onto whatever you want to clip them onto. I have a bag of lots of them there. Can't remember how many there are in there. So yeah, one baggie of little clips, which will be super useful for a whole ton of things, not just doggy poop bags. And then I splurged on this. I say I splurged, it wasn't expensive. This is a set of grommets, and I should probably open it up. Let's see, can you see that? The set of grommets has all of the pieces for obviously making the grommets, and also the tool for cutting a hole in the fabric and the 2 tools for hammering them in. It's the tool for cutting the fabric I was most interested in. And I didn't just buy the tool because I couldn't find a 14mm tool to go with the grommets I already had, but I'm almost out of those anyway. So in the end, I decided to buy this kit because it has 1/2 inch grommets, which are pretty darn close to 14mm. It's more like a 12mm, 12.5. And I can just whack the fabric with the tool to make the hole instead of fiddling around with a little pair of scissors and worried that the hole isn't going to be the right size. Awesome, right? And the third thing in the box, the third and final thing in the box, is a pack of 6 rolls of double-sided tape. This is the Asteron on Amazon tape, which my friend gave me one of these for Christmas, and I've almost used it all up. It's a 1/4 inch wide, and to be honest, I don't know if it's washout. It just says Asteron, and it's sold as a gift wrapping double-sided tape. I think they expect you to use it with paper. But my friend said that she found it was recommended in the creative bag making group on Facebook. I was about to say something else. Facebook. And if the creative bag makers, who all seem to make amazingly professional stuff, like it, well, I give it a go, and I've been liking it too. So 3 things which I decided to splurge on. It was not a large order, and I know I can use those things up. So I've got a little celebration to enjoy today, because my little vlog has a little over 500 subscribers now. I got over the 500 just in the last couple of days, and that's so exciting. That's absolutely amazing. I started this in June of last year, and I had absolutely no idea if anyone would want to watch or if I would even keep it up. And yeah, am I keeping it up or what? I can't stop. One of the things I noticed when I went to check the stats today on YouTube Studio was that of the people who are watching my videos, only 12% were subscribers. I know a lot of YouTubers say this, right? Only 12% of you are subscribed. Make sure to subscribe and put that notification bell on, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, and I was always wondering, how did they know that? Apparently, most people find my videos because it comes up on the home page, their home page, when they go into YouTube, or it comes up as a what's next or up next at the end of somebody else's video. So I'm really glad that YouTube is recommending my videos, and that's down to you guys, because anyone who watches the video makes YouTube know that people are actually paying attention and it might be worth other people knowing about it. So I'm grateful to you for that. So what I thought I'd do is, seeing as we're up 500 subscribers, is I'd have a little giveaway. And seeing as I just made this little batch of bags, and I'm going to open this to anyone anywhere in the world, and because these are thin, light little bags, I decided I would offer this little bag here as a freebie to a randomly drawn commenter on today's vlog. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to ask everyone who's watching this to please subscribe. It's going to be on the honor system because I won't know if you've done it. I can see who subscribes, but I don't know if it's one of the people who was watching this particular vlog or not. So I'm just going to have to trust you. So I'm going to ask whoever's watching this to hit the subscribe button and share it to one other person or one other social media place. So when you comment on the vlog underneath this video, leave a comment. Tell me that you have subscribed and shared it to at least one other person. It can be on Instagram, or it can be on Facebook, or whatever you use, or can just be telling a friend about it. What I will do, a week exactly after my vlog has been published, I will do a random draw of the commenters, and the lucky winner will get this bag. Fair enough? I think that's all I have to talk about for today. So in order to get this up and going, it may be a shorter vlog than usual, but we've got the giveaway and I want to get that up to you ASAP. We're in the middle of a snowy few days. I got some footage of the snow earlier and I'm hoping it shows well, because the flakes were absolutely huge. And it's hovering around 0, so it's wet snow and it looks pretty, but it's not settling and going icy, so it's kind of good snow. So from a snowy British Columbia, Canada, I'll say thank you for watching, and I hope you enter my giveaway, and I hope to see all your comments, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks very much.